Yesterday I cleared 50 GC. Did it have a sleep and some wrinkled teeth? Then I checked my text, 5 friends in there, talking like I own for the life I met. I used to chase hope, not change the pump. They post fake wins, I just post the jump. Told my mom I'm barely hanging on, but I bought a new whip just to prove them wrong. You can't afford to live like this.
Bounce your hand for a meme coin.
You can't pretend your trades are all here, but you do, don't you? I made more last month than your whole damn crew. Still like bro, so they never asked to. Pros one loss, they swarm like flies. But where were you when I 5x twice? They play scared, I play God. Still swinging while their game's flatlining. They Google dreams of war room and cash, laughing while their 5-year plans collapse. You can't afford to live like this. Sell the house, go all in. You can't be dumb enough to dream so big, but I did and I will again. You can't afford to live like this.
Bounce your hand for a meme coin.
You can't pretend your trades are here,
But you do, don't you?
you can't afford to live like this. But I did and I will again. You can't be dumb enough to dream so big,
But you do, don't you?
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a monstrous green, tendy, bullish day already. Folks, I don't know if you've already seen the markets or not, but they are up, and they are up quite a bit, especially the tech sector, because AMD and OpenAI just announced the deal, and we will be getting into it, of course. But first, let me be the first to congratulate you on making it to a Monday, and more specifically, let me congratulate all the people who swung AMD over the weekend. I have to admit, it was a little bit of a random play setting up into it. We weren't really moving in the stock. It was consolidating, so maybe you were playing that in one way or another. And if you were, like I said, a massive congrats to you. It's up over $50. It's up over 35%. Huge deal with OpenAI. Like I said, we will be breaking that down. But also before that, we're going to be getting into the, I guess, major market news. We're still in a government shutdown. We might be getting some job numbers this week. I'll be explaining that. I'll be explaining seasonality. And right now, it's just another question of, will we be hitting another new all-time high today? It looks as if that's pretty much locked in for the NASDAQ. The SPY is a little bit questionable, the S&P 500. If we get some good momentum, but of course I want to let you know, just be mindful of profit taking at market open, be mindful of the downside gap fill in NQ and ES, so we're going to be working to balance that out. So we're going to take a holistic view at the overall economy, the stock market. We're going to dive into the specifics of AMD. Bitcoin is looking amazing over the weekend, hitting an all-time high. Gold hitting an all-time high. We're seeing a lot of people saying, you know what? I got to get out of the US dollar. The dollar down. Recently just took a pop. as we were sleeping overnight, there was an election in Japan, or the results of an election. So we saw a little bit of a pivot there, a little bit of a change in the yen as well. So we'll be diving into that. And of course, I'll be giving you the stats, facts, and figures of not only seasonality, but what in the world is happening with options, the important positive gamma nodes, negative gamma nodes, support, resistance, breakouts, breakdowns. We're going to be breaking it all down for you today. But folks, I hope you had a great Friday afternoon. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you are not a Philadelphia or a Pennsylvania, I should say, sports fan, because as I am, it was brutal. Not good. Penn State somehow lost to UCLA. I don't know what Franklin was thinking whatsoever. I think he has maybe potentially the worst time management skills in all of college football. The Eagles were winning and somehow blew a lead against the Broncos. I don't know what's going on there. I believe the Phillies lost. I don't know. I just hope whatever state or locality or sports team in general that you support, I hope they did way better than me, because it was just, for me, my fantasy teams all got their face destroyed. It was so bad. All the teams I support, all my fantasy teams, I don't think I won a single thing. I don't think I won a single freaking thing over the weekend. So I hope at least someone in here had taken my luck, because mine was nothing but negative. Nothing but negative. Generally, some of it's nothing but net, but it was very much not so whatsoever. It was actually comical how bad it is. I'm looking at some of your comments right now. Yeah, I get it. UCLA, they have a temporary coach. They had a new guy step in, still somehow beating us, not ranked. We were ranked 7. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. Obviously, the Eagles still have a shot at making a Super Bowl run, but Penn State no longer has a shot at making a college football playoff run when you lose 2 games, especially this early on. Not good. Not good. Anyway, so I hope you had a great Friday in the markets. I hope you made a bunch of money. I hope you were able to sidestep that little sell-off into the end of the day. I hope you had a great weekend hanging out with friends, family, loved ones, enjoyed some fall weather, and I hope you're ready to get rocking it today. And on that note, here's a little bit about what's going down. Stock futures rise after a record-setting week as government shutdown continues. So yes, we are still shut down, but I do want you to know on Friday, even though we had a little bit of a late day sell-off, we did manage to hit a new all-time high on the S&P 500, on the NASDAQ 100. Actually, even the Russell hit an all-time high this is on Friday, so I don't know why RTY is already showing there. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, the Russell hitting an all-time high. Also over the weekend, Bitcoin hitting an all-time high. And then also early this morning, gold hitting an all-time high. So lots of records being made. And if you looked at pre-market action, it might be continuing. In fact, if the NASDAQ were to open now, we would hit a new all-time high. The SPY really not that far away. And a lot of it has to do with the excitement in AMD and Bitcoin. Congratulations if you watch one or both related to AMD or Bitcoin, because you are having a very, very good morning. As you can see, AMD is up $60. It's up almost 36% in pre-market trading. Closed out the day at 164. It is currently trading at 223. Big deal with OpenAI. I'll be getting into it. And Bitcoin, it is gearing up for another attack at that all-time high. So as you can imagine, we have lots to chit-chat about. Government shutdown drags on with little pressure to break the impasse. Pain from missed federal paychecks, healthcare deadlines will mount, but Republicans and Democrats aren't budging for now. Every time I think about this, I always get reminded of how awesome it is that we elect toddlers to represent us. It's insane. Absolutely insane that we are here. I covered this a little bit in the update video yesterday. The fact that the government shut down, as more time passes, there's going to be more negative impacts impacting not them, but, the people who voted for them, their constituents. As it draws out, people are going to be in more and more pain. And then I was reading some articles over the weekend that the senators, they just took a break this weekend. They took the weekend off. Absolutely blows my mind. If you look at the current stats, the betting markets are increasing, which is not the right direction. They're increasing what they believe the duration of the shutdown will be. So according to Kohrs right now, it's all the way up to 21.2 days is the current bet. If you look at Polymarket, there's a 72% chance that this will go past October 15th. So not the exact same bet, not the exact same mathematical statement, but both Kalshi and Polymarket are becoming more confident in a longer duration government shutdown. So right now, the stock market is taking it in stride. But remember, government shutdown most directly impacts the economy, and then eventually the economy trickles down to the stock market. So they're highly correlated, but not the exact same thing. And there is a chance in which this is very good for the stock market, i.e., the government resumes very quickly, but the longer it drags on, it could have negative effects. Obviously, I don't think that's that big brain of a statement, but right now, I wouldn't take the argument, just the assumption, because I know this has a lot of negative connotation. Like right away, you shouldn't be like, oh, government shutdown, I got to go buy puts. I got to get all these 0 DTE puts. I got to short ES. I got to short NQ. That's not necessarily a given. Eventually, it might lead to that. But remember, the government shutdown is most related to the state of the economy, and the economy is correlated with the stock market, but they're not exactly the same thing. So don't just rush right away into negative bets on the market. Eventually it might become true, but right now you are fading a very, very strong trend. So with the government shutdown, there are many things that are impacted, but here, if you're watching this show, one thing you gotta pay attention to is really the job numbers. Maybe we're getting initial jobless claims. Maybe we're getting non-farm payrolls. Maybe we're getting unemployment rate this week. We don't know. These all have a giant asterisk on them. We don't know if we're getting them. We don't know if we're not getting them. If the government opens back up, as in the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, they will then give us the numbers. However, if we don't open up, it's actually going to be not that big of a week in terms of macroeconomic data reports. But I should let you know there is a 10-year note auction this Wednesday and FOMC meeting minutes. And then the following day at 8:30 in the morning, Thursday, October 9th, Fed Chair Powell will be speaking same day, the 30-year bond auction. So I wanted to put that all on your radar. But once again, taking a step back of where this could go in terms of the negative route, there will start to be layoffs if Trump decides shutdown talks have stalled, according to Hassett, who is Trump's national economic advisor. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said the layoffs for federal government employees will begin if the president decides that negotiations to end the government shutdown are absolutely going nowhere. Remember, the major sticking point in this is healthcare, and more specifically, one side or the other side's opinion of is healthcare going to undocumented immigrants. Hassett expressed optimism that negotiations this week could resolve the impasse. His comments come as the government shutdown enters a new week with no clear off-ramp in sight. The fact that they took off the weekend still absolutely blows my mind. Hassett was on with CNBC Squawk Box earlier today, and this is where all the breakdown's coming from, but I bet throughout the week we ideally should get more information. Also related to the overall economy, globally, Japan stocks hit record high as Seine Takachi. I know I'm butchering this, and I apologize. Even earlier today, I went to one of those pronunciation guides to try to figure out how to say this, and I can hear it clearly in my head, but then every time I'm trying to get the right sounds out, it just does not work. So, Seinai Takaichi, I'm going to go with. I know I'm butchering it, and I know I sound like an ass, so my apologies. Anyway, there was an election. We got the results of that in Japan as we were sleeping overnight, and it actually had quite a big impact. So if you look at the U.S. dollar, so here, I'll just show you the dollar first. This is the dollar, and it's compared against a basket, and within that basket is the yen. But if you look at USD JPY, you can see there was actually a huge pop over there. So for my Forex traders, for my, I guess anyone just paying attention to international currencies, interest rates, there was a big move here. And really the TLDR is their economy was liking the fact that they elected more of a conservative leaning candidate. So just wanted to share that. I know this isn't the biggest Forex show. In fact, we don't really talk about it unless something's going so crazy in Forex that it has an impact elsewhere. So just wanted to put that on your radar. Also, because it's a Monday, I do want to remind you about seasonality. Now, over the past 20 years worth of data, you can see from this period until about mid-January, the bulls from a seasonal perspective are in control. Over the most recent 5 years, you can see this week, next week, and the next week are all bullish. Then pretty much at the start of November, there's a little bit of a breather, and then all of a sudden we have one of the most bullish weeks of the entire year. So just wanted to remind you of seasonality for the overall market. Now that we're kind of like all together on the overall market, all-time highs, looking pretty strong this morning. Great. Let's dive into the big moving stuff, AMD and Bitcoin. And I'm sure many of you have already been seeing what's going on with AMD. It is ripping, and it's all because of a new deal with OpenAI, which, remember, is the player who just, 2 weeks ago made a deal with NVIDIA. And I think that in itself has a lot of, we'll call it humorous implications for this current deal. So let me first explain what the deal is, and then I'll dive into why it's kind of crazy. We are thrilled to partner with OpenAI to deliver AI compute at massive scale. This partnership brings the best of AMD and OpenAI together to create a true win-win, enabling the world's most ambitious AI build-out and advancing the entire AI ecosystem. So on the right side of your screen, right above my head, here are the major aspects you need to know. 6 gigawatts of AI infrastructure. Initial 1 gigawatt development of AMD M1450 series GPU capacity beginning with 2H226, enabling very large-scale AI deployments and advancing the entire AI ecosystem. That is the partnership. That was the announcement. And right away, the markets loved it. AMD soared at that point 25%. It's now up 35%. That OpenAI is taking up to 10% stake of the company. So that's not how much they did take, it's how much they could take. And obviously, they're just buying a lot of AMD. And you can already see why that's a little funny, because remember what just happened? NVIDIA gave OpenAI a bunch of money and said, hey, you're going to buy NVIDIA chips. And remember, dollars aren't necessarily like fungible like that. So the real question here is did NVIDIA invest in OpenAI, giving them money with the anticipation that they're going to buy NVIDIA chips, but now they're using some of the money to invest in their competitor, AMD? Does no one else see how absolutely crazy that is? That they are sitting on this pile of cash and playing kind of the game of moving the cups and everything with their bankers. And it all is able to do this because of NVIDIA. And now it's directly benefiting their, like, one of their closest competitors. Absolutely crazy. OpenAI announcements make waves in the stock market. It has shone, without a doubt. OpenAI and AMD announced massive computing deal marking new phase of the AI boom. The 5-year agreement will challenge NVIDIA's market dominance as OpenAI plans deployment of AMD's M1450 chips. That is a devious smile. I think we just saw one of the most ridiculous, borderline backstabby business deals ever go down. And I guess, hey, when it comes to the almighty dollar, no one has any shame. Just so you know, they will be discussing this. Is it Lisa Su or Amy Su? The CEO of AMD will be on Squawk Box at 9:30 this morning. We will be listening to it because I myself, as many of you in chat, are very, very interested in what this is. I mean, I think it added already, 50 billion already to the market cap? OpenAI looks to take 10% stake in AMD through AI chip deal worth billions. OpenAI and AMD have reached a deal that could see Sam Altman's company take 10% stake in the chip maker. OpenAI will deploy up to 6 gigawatts, that's a lot, of AMD GPUs over multiple years, beginning with a 1 gigawatt rollout in 2026. AMD issued OpenAI a warrant for up to 160 million shares with vesting tied to deployment and share price milestones. So it's not 100% a done deal in the sense that, like, oh yeah, like they have the 10%. Obviously it's via warrants, and they could choose to exercise it, certain stock prices, certain milestones. And really what we're seeing here is OpenAI is basically saying we don't want to be reliant on one chip maker. So we already know they have a deal with NVIDIA. We now know they have a deal with AMD. And even early this morning, there are some rumors and people are pointing out that there's been conversations with OpenAI and Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, to potentially have Broadcom build out specialized chips just to run the OpenAI and really ChatGPT LLM. So it seems like they're just going to all the biggest guys and attempting to make some sort of deal. The other thing that I find really, really interesting diving into this story is we know right now OpenAI a while ago got some stability because of the equity investment from Microsoft. But if you look at the recent SEC filings from Microsoft, they actually list OpenAI as one of its major competitors. What a weird web of things that we have going on right now, that we have apparently money going from NVIDIA to OpenAI potentially using that money to buy a percentage equity stake in their direct competitor, AMD. And it's getting to this level where Broadcom's like, where am I at? Last week, all the news that we cared about was Intel and the government involved there, and they were magically getting the best deals ever. And then all of a sudden, you really start to dive into it, and you're like, hang on, Microsoft owns a big chunk, so they're getting exposure to all of this. But then yet, in their own filings, they're identifying OpenAI as their own competitor, even though they own it. And then also, we're starting to realize that OpenAI is moving away from Microsoft's cloud. They're slowly but surely getting off of Azure. So this has, the way there's like the drama and Bachelor, like that type of just like whatever, romantic dating type of drama, it feels like we're seeing that play out with AI, like just billionaires now. Like I think they need their own reality show of just drama, because I don't know if they know they're getting stabbed in the back or if they're cool with it or if it's actually way more vicious than any of us could have possibly imagined. But at the end of the day, I can tell you that someone always knows. $6 million worth of AMD's out of the money calls were purchased on October 2nd. Folks, it is the 6th. The deal got announced today. This went down on Thursday. On Thursday, someone bought $6 million worth of AMD calls. What? I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know what to tell you. But they were loading up for December right here, 180. They are now in the money to the tune of, Jesus, $47. Seems like someone always knows. Someone always freaking knows. So obviously, congrats to you. If you ended up swinging AMD over the weekend, seriously, that is a big, big deal. And I cannot wait for the market to open for you to make a ton of money. But please be mindful of profit taking right at market open. It's okay for you to be a profit taker. Wait for things to stabilize and then maybe reposition, new date, new expiration date, all that, new strike, any of that stuff is completely fine. But over the past 2 to 3 weeks, we've been seeing a very, very, very evident effort from the market that whenever we're gapping up like this, I mean, look at the overall market, look at individual equities, the SPY pretty much every single day of this past week, Tesla on their recent delivery numbers, there's been quite a bit of profit taking as things are getting more and more frothy. So you can do that. Like, remember, as it goes down, Ivy's going to get crushed there. It's okay for you to lock in your money, be secure, wait for things to stabilize. And if you still like the situation, you could always get back in, new expiration date, new strike. So I want to remind you of that. I also want to remind you to sign up for the newsletter. This is 100% free. If you are watching this right now, if you are listening to me right now, you can get onto the Goonie newsletter for free. It's always been free, always will be free. I break down what's going on in the market. I give you a little cheat sheet of all the major macroeconomic events. I do want you to know that some of these are questionable, whether we're going to get them or not. And then I give you the seasonality for each individual trading day. Over the past 27 years, the bulls have won this day 68% of the time, as in the bull camp has an 18% edge. Is it a guarantee? No, but it is obviously a positive edge. Tomorrow, Tuesday is a bit more bearish. Wednesday is a bit more bullish. Thursday is a bit more bearish. And Friday is a bit more neutral. So that means per individual trading day throughout the week, it is flip-flopping. We just go from bullish to bearish, back to neutral. So it's not like the week as a whole is bullish, or bearish. It does net out to favoring the bulls, but per individual day. So I'm basically talking to you whether you're a day trader or a swing trader. Obviously, you would interpret this data a little bit differently. Speaking of the overall market, here are your key levels of the day. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white. The yellow lines are the major open interest levels, as in people have big plays going on at those exact levels. And then the white box is your transition zone. It's basically you tend to think bullish above, bearish below, and choppy within. And like I said, these are all technical levels, psychological levels, and most importantly, it's where we see the big money established at. In pre-market trading, the SPX, the actual S&P 500, is currently trading at 6738. 6738 puts us right where my cursor is. So basically just above the high from Thursday, but just below the high from Friday. So in between these two levels right here. We have support at 6730, and if that doesn't hold, then we're watching the closing value from Friday. On the flip side, if we pop out of the gate or if we find support at 6730, the next level is pretty much the all-time high and another major open interest level of 6750. From there, if the bulls really get going today, 6765, 6785, and my reach target on the day would be 6800. That would be your bull case scenario. However, if you come in here and you're a negative Nancy and you like to fade the overall move, you'd be looking for the failure at 6730, a push to the closing value from Friday, and then for us to get absorbed into the transitional zone. That's once again this white box, and you'd be looking for a test of 6700. If that doesn't hold, there's more support at 6690. So obviously the latter case is your bear case, the former case is your bull case, and we're going to wait to see what happens. And even I would argue, obviously, every single day, I always do the bull case, I do the bear case. I would say looking at price structure, momentum, seasonality, and the overall options market, I would say the bulls are in control. And just one final thing on the overall options flow, you can see the dash line is when you take out the 0 DTE. Right here, 6715 is kind of interesting because if we stay on the right side of it, there's a shot up to 50 there, and that's like an interesting movement, falling down this negative gamma, but going right up to this resistance. On the flip side, if we get pushed to 6,700, if that doesn't hold, maybe there's a flush to 6,650. So on a 0 DTE perspective, just seeing the setup, I honestly could see it going either way, and which is why I really, really want to remind you of, hang on, let me bring up the 30-minute chart. I think this could drive home my point. So on Friday, we popped, we dropped. On Thursday, we gapped open and we dropped. We gapped down on Wednesday and recovered all day. On Monday, we popped open and we dropped. On Friday, we popped and we dropped. So it seems it's almost as if our movement every single day is inverted. When we start off weak, we get a pop. When we start off strong, it's getting inverted. So it seems like people are continually playing to that previous day closing value. So based on the direction of the gap, if we gap up, people are going down. If we gap down, people are buying it back up. We're seeing on a 0 DTE basis, a lot of mean reverting to away from the extreme of where we're opening, which I think is important context for today because we are opening pretty strong. So maybe, just maybe, a little bit of patience is going to be necessary because even if we pop up, maybe you could actually get a fill all the way down at the closing value rather than chasing it at the all-time high. Now, is that how it's going to happen? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just pointing out the recent pattern. And I also want to really drive that point home for both AMD and Bitcoin as well. Things are looking very strong, but recently in this market, because things are incredibly frothy, people seemingly love taking their profits. So just want to throw that out there. I also want to throw out there that AMD's CEO will be coming on to Squawk Box at 9:30. So we're going to listen to that just because this is obviously the craziest story of the day. And I also want to give a special shout out to today's stream partner, Public. I should probably put up this legal disclosure. You guys understand that there is risk when you are engaging in the market. I've been partnered up with Public in excess of a year, and that's for very good reason. In my humble opinion, this is the best brokerage for you to possibly be on. Whether you're trading stocks or crypto or bonds or options, this is the brokerage that I personally love. And I feel like if you check it out, you're going to like it as well. I know many of you watching this right now are options traders, and this is clearly the best for trading options. options. There are no commission fees. There are no per contract fees for stocks and for ETFs. Every single time you trade a contract, doesn't matter if it's a call or put, doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. And if you're trading a multi-leg strategy, guess what? You're going to even get more of this. And I'm talking about rebates. There is no other brokerage. I mean, I've done a lot of research, and see if you can prove me wrong on this one. I would love to know. There's no other brokerage that gives you a rebate every single time you trade. When you get into a call and get out of a call, guess what? You're getting 2x rebates. If you're doing call debit spreads, credit spreads, guess what? 2x, you're getting 4x the rebates. This adds up beautifully. Thus far, year to date, I believe for me when I was checking out, I already have thousands of dollars in rebates from public. So no matter where you are in your trading career, especially for options, you are going to be better off. If you're profitable, you'll be more profitable. If you're not profitable, well, the pain's going to be a little bit less because that entire time you were earning rebates. So obviously beyond that, they have stock trading, no payment for order flow. They have bond trading, really good UI or UX for that. They have crypto trading. They have high yield accounts. They have retirement accounts. It's all pinned at the top of chat. Use that link because when you use it, you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. There's various tiers of how much money you're going to be earning whenever you are trading options. So if you want to start out at a higher tier, use that link. It's free to download. It's free to sign up. Check it out because I think when you do, you're going to realize that you're going to like it as much as I do. If you're an option trader, I'm telling you, this is worth it. And hey, maybe it's going to be one of your multiple accounts, but when you realize you're doing the same trades on various accounts, but then one is doing better because of the rebates, I think you're going to kind of fall into the same thought process that I have of, well, might as well do more and more trading over here. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, whoa. And if not, have fun. I don't know what just my whole soundboard just like crapped out there for a second. All right. Well, I want to listen to, here we go. All right. I know you can't hear yet, but they are bringing on the CEO of AMD to have an interview about this recent deal, and this stock is crazy. Right here, AMD up 35%, adding billions of dollars of value. Billions of dollars of value. Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, SPY and Qs right at their all-time high. I actually believe the NASDAQ did technically hit it at market open. It did, going for its downside gap fill. If you're trading NDX, the downside gap fill is 224,958. NQ, you can't see it there, but on the Qs, you can see it right here. Downside gap fill on QQQ to 60733. Even though I fully admit that the overall situation is bullish, when I see a gap like that, I just don't want to chase it because I know the odds of the downside gap fill are just so incredibly high. All right, come on. Squawk on the street. When's this interview? Come on. I'm getting alerts. What alerts? Hut. Got an alert on Hut breaking out. Come on. They're talking about Walgreens. I know you guys can't hear it yet. Here's the sound. I was just waiting for that interview because AMD is very much the talk of the town. And as we've been seeing, as I warned you guys of, profit taking at open. We've already gone from 226 down to 219. I try to warn you guys. This is literally what we've just been seeing for weeks in a row now. Multiple weeks in a row is when we're gapping up, showing a lot of strength. There is just this downside gap fill. People are taking their profits. Oklo is flying. Fuck me. I got out of my Oklo on Friday. Where is Oklo? Jesus. Now there's a downside gap fill. Crossing down. So actually, it's showing quite a bit of strength. Well, I can't believe I got out of that. I got out for, I believe, a small gain or a small loss. It was basically a scratch trade for me, but I got stopped out of a lot of stuff in that midday puke on Friday, and obviously, I don't know, you do it for protection, but I am not a happy camper by any means. Not a happy camper by any means. Crossing down. Why is this alert not working? Where is this interview? Yeah, we get it. AMD OpenAI partnership. It is the talk of the town.
usually
Kramer.
well-watched numbers out of Adobe
We do have a
Analytics.
big Amazon event.
Profit taking right at market open. Q's just got the downside gap fill. If you played that, congrats. Easy play. Is it a guaranteed play? No, there's no such thing as a guaranteed play. IONQ, how's
Jackson feels has been ho-hum, but
attempted to get a breakout on IONQ there.
he's got the L
Qubits.
We mentioned that
Open,
Tesla event tomorrow. We're not
Rigetti,
exactly sure what it's gonna be. They put up a
MicroStrategy.
9-second
SoFi, I'm
video,
looking for a potential
which
recovery
involves
here.
some
I have an
power
alert on
highlights,
SoFi.
speculation about maybe that low-cost Model Y finally. We'll see tomorrow.
I still
CoreWeave,
think it's been underrated how much that company
Apple.
changed when
Apple's
they- when
looking
he
good.
put
Apple's
the
going for
president
potentially a new all-time high today. I know it's been a minute since we talked about new all-time highs for Apple, but it is knocking on the door of a new high. Microsoft looks like it's getting a technical breakout. Actually, speaking of that,
remember the country split in half.
In your book, not to give too much away,
I
you're
want to
right about
see
Tesla, and you
how much
kinda say
options
it's
upside
ceramic,
does Microsoft really have.
sort of out of your political
I
comes
don't
at a
need
price. You
this.
can't recommend the name as
MSFT
highly
looks
as
like
would
it's
I.
about to break out. Microsoft currently trading at 222. Where are we at? 222. You have support at 210 and 215. Next one is 235, potentially 245.
You saw someone who was frantic, someone who I think did many ill-considered, took many ill-considered actions, and then he got out.
Let's see
there and
Microsoft.
the president
This one
away.
is
The president
interesting me.
has not
I
been
can't
attacked.
lie. I
The
can't
president
lie.
actually showed graciousness.
All right, here's the flow thus far.
We'll see Q3 deliveries, obviously.
Dude,
we're great
when
ahead
are
of
we
that
getting this?
expiration of the tax credit.
Supreme Court will
Notice
not
got
hear
upgrade of
Maxwell
Ford.
appeal
I
of
like that.
Epstein
Jeffrey,
abetting
Missing the
conviction.
fact that Ford, we've been waiting. They've been,
Dude, is anyone else as interested in Microsoft as I am? I mean, I'm seeing these technicals right here. We're grinding up.
Not an EV, and he's ready. And that's why that stock is sneaking up. I would buy Ford.
People are playing the 35 on
This
it.
is Farley's time.
Yeah.
It's quite a
Last thing
battle,
on
though.
This is a headline, I think it's out of Bloomberg or Reuters today, that they may announce a $10 billion investment in the U.S., which would be
Do I want to play it a little
fresh versus,
differently?
prior 5 announced.
Need anything they can get.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
this is
how do I
one-
want to play this?
this
I think I'm going to do
industry
a
is,
weird play on
GM
it.
has been the winner, but no one on the stock base, no one thinks it's really flying. But
Today, though, it's all about the chips. AMD up
How could I
32
do
to start
this?
the morning.
And look
Finally, I love this upgrade out of Morgan Stanley, a Micron, Jim. The title is literally better late than never.
yeah, I mean, look, you had to buy it right after they reported the quarter, and then the stock went down badly. Of course, it went down for no reason whatsoever. By the way, Taiwan Semi is on fire today because we realize now they got giant orders from AMD, giant orders from NVIDIA.
I don't know if I want to do
So, I
this.
mean, that's
Do
a
I want to do
buy. I
this?
think
All right,
upside,
downside gap
Jackie
on the
Allers,
Qs.
Andre
A little bit of a
Roach from
potential
Micron.
bounce right here.
He's a humble person, and the stock got clobbered in part because he didn't say me, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. That's not his nature. That's what a fifth grader does. He's not a fifth grader.
I'll tell you what, though, Jim, the SMH for the year to date is 42%. Just the SMH alone.
It's back.
I'm thinking.
The data
I'm
centers
thinking
are
here.
filled. They're filled with ARM. They're filled with Marvell. They're filled with.
I'm
all the
thinking,
companies that we talk
thinking.
about.
Microsoft.
Look, I just think people continue to underestimate why everyone's doing this.
All right, we're ripping it.
Jensen knows
I
that
was
NetApp's
flat going into the
social
weekend.
and
This is now
classes.
pending.
He
I don't know
knows
if I'm
that,
going to get a fill.
self-drive is Musk. He knows
All right,
that
I really
mobile
thought
is
the
Musk. He
AMD
knows that
interview was going
Google
down,
is search.
but now
No one
Kramer's
wants
just
to be
doing
big.
Kramer things.
This is about not being big, and I think people don't understand the shame.
Kramer's
Microsoft
just
that
doing
they weren't
Kramer
big
things.
has been driving them for years. That's why Satya Nadella is such a great CEO.
So
He's
you're,
great.
so your
All right,
general point
maybe
is
a little
that
bounce coming
there
in
is no
here.
second place.
Oh, not
There's
in the
no
vertical.
consolation
All right,
prize.
finding
No, in the
support
verticals, they
at
went up
32,
100%
the
of the
exact level we had marked out. This is the high from Thursday. A little bit of a pop, a little bit of profit taking. Maybe we're going to see some life. Maybe. We'll find out.
When I guided Street.com, what we did was we said made a deal with Google.
Maybe,
We knew that
maybe.
they were
I'm not really
traffic
wanting
up.
to
That
chase
was
the
how
overall
we
market
made-
quite
that's
yet.
how
All
we
right, this
became
is
a
getting
big
annoying.
company.
If you guys see that the interview starts, please let me know. I think as a group, as a Goonie traders, we could dive into that. There probably is going to be some interesting stuff. I just was under the anticipation that was happening right here. AMD and OpenAI announced partnership moments away. AMD CEO and OpenAI co-founder and president. Oh, it should be starting. It just says moments away. All right. I guess we have to listen to Jim for a second or two more. Here's the profit taking right now. We popped up until 934. Mag 7 profit taking. S&P 500 not trending upward. So please be careful if you're being bullish right now, because we're just not seeing it being reflected in options. Oracle alert. Oracle maybe putting in a shoulder, head, shoulder. Upside gap fill to 300. I'm looking at this shoulder or this one. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Oh, Oracle. That's not that bad of risk.
Oh boy, we've got it.
Where's Oracle at? 295. Oracle. You have support at 270. You have support at 280. You have a target at 300 and 315. Oh, 290, 295 support. So you're at, it is a 2-to-1 reward to risk. That's not bad. Ooh. Here we go.
Congratulations to both. Lisa, I'd like to start with you, okay?
Yeah, good morning. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you. Now, Lisa, this is a huge coup because I think a lot of people felt that you were nowhere near NVIDIA in terms of being able to power, in terms of compute. Why don't you tell us why you think what you've done in the last 2 years that make people realize that, wait a second, this is not a one-horse game?
Well, first of all, Jim, it's great to be here with this morning. It's a big day for AMD. It's a big day for our relationship with OpenAI. And frankly, I think it's an important day for the AI industry, right? What we're seeing is there's just a massive demand for more compute. I mean, there's so many applications for AI. There's so many places where we'd like to see it used. And, you know, compute is the foundation of that. So we're super excited to announce this deal with OpenAI. I think it has been, you know, something that we've been working on for a long time. And I think it says a lot about, you know, sort of the importance of having, you know, the right compute technology to really power this next wave of AI. So very, very exciting. It's a huge deal. You know, 6 gigawatts is a massive deployment at scale. And, you know, we love working with OpenAI, truly a leader in this great industry.
Okay, so Greg, I've not been able to meet you, and I feel remiss. Obviously, you're one of the most important people in this world of AI. I wanted to ask you: a lot of people feel that there was a deal that you made with NVIDIA and was something I was loathsome. People were saying it was circular. I thought that was just blasphemy, because I felt that they really were going to go to whoever else had great power. You went to Lisa and AMD. Why? What attracted you? What was in the chips that you felt made it so you didn't just need NVIDIA?
We need as much computing power as we can possibly get. And I think the whole industry right now is trying to really adapt to the amount of demand for AI services that we see coming over the next couple of years. And I think that when it comes to the suppliers of this computing power, I think that NVIDIA has something very special. We use them for training, use them for inference. AMD, I think, also is really sort of delivering in terms of the next generation of chip that they've been working on. We've been providing feedback. We've been doing a lot of software work to be able to enable it for inference within our infrastructure. And we really see the whole ecosystem as being something that's coming together to deliver the amount of inference that will be required to bring AI to everyone at scale.
And why the warrant deal? Was it not enough to just have a terrific partnership?
Yeah, maybe, Jim, let me make a comment on that. You know, first of all, I think we have to get
from here.
You know, really on this big picture of, you know, Sam and Greg need more AI compute, and, you know, our job is to deliver that. You know, the thought process around the warrants is, you know, it's actually hard to build these, you know, huge gigawatt deployments in data centers. And we wanted to make sure that this is a long-term deal. So it is really an opportunity for us to align AMD and OpenAI together over the long term. And the idea is, you know, as OpenAI deploys compute, you know, that's a huge benefit to AMD in terms of, you know, the amount of revenue that we get from that. You know, every gigawatt of compute is significant double-digit billions of revenue to us. And as part of that, we have to work really closely together to make sure those deployments are super successful. And as we do that, OpenAI gets to benefit, from some of the success of our work together. So it really is, the best in terms of tying performance to each other. And I want OpenAI to be extraordinarily successful, and this gives OpenAI a reason to want us to be successful as well.
Lisa, can you talk a bit about how the dynamic, the element of the ownership in AMD came about, and how you see that playing out?
Well, this is like a new world. When you talk about the type of scale that we're trying to build, the capital intensity of what you need to do, and frankly, the long-term partnership that you need for this type of stuff to be successful. And as Greg said, we've been working with OpenAI for some time. They've given us really good feedback. And
Zuckerberg's
frankly,
being left in the dust, folks.
Some of the best engineers in the world, and they actually, give us a lot of feedback on what we can do better. And so our roadmap today is really exciting. Today we are shipping the MI350, which has great adoption, but we're even more excited about our next generation, MI450. And this was an opportunity for us to go big together and ensure that the companies are completely aligned as we go forward over the next few years. And the beauty of this is it's all performance related, right? We have to perform and build great chips, which we're confident of. OpenAI has to have all the best models out there to consume all this compute. And together, we're going to optimize and ensure that the roadmap is really strong going forward.
And I think on the call you did say it would be highly accretive to both revenue and earnings.
That's right. That's right. This is a great opportunity for us to really, turbocharge our AI footprint. It is significantly accretive to AMD shareholders on day one. And as OpenAI deploys more, we continue to have accretion in terms of revenue growth as well as earnings. And most importantly, we get a long-term partner to address all of this AI compute that the world needs.
Greg, I think a lot of people are saying that you and I, Sarah Fryer, Sam, dreamers, that you have great
people say
growth,
that Jim Cramer is a dreamer.
Terrific, obviously, maybe the fastest growing company in history. But that doesn't matter. You don't have the money, and this is just one of those things in 1999, 1998. Does it get tiresome to hear about that nonsense? Does anyone realize on Wall Street or when you meet them that this is the fourth industrial revolution? The world is going to change, and you don't want to be left behind.
Mag 7's still getting hit. S&P, we're still seeing profit taking.
The world is changing as a result of this kind of technology. And in many ways, you can think of AI as making
at this point, you're just looking to hit the closing value, 6715.
The promise of what they
at least that's what I would look at.
Right? You think about how much of using a computer right now is you contorting yourself to the interface and you thinking hard about the problems and the computer doing a small amount of productivity enhancement. But where we're heading is machines that are much more capable and have this almost intelligence within them. And we're seeing the productivity gains across every sector of the economy. People are using ChatGPT, 800 million weekly active users. And these models, we know how to make them much more capable. And so that's really what's driving the progress, is that we're on this exponential of AI improvement.
Palantir.
And we've been on that trajectory, not just for a year, not just for 3 years since releasing
Apple's getting hit,
ChatGPT, but really for the whole decade
Hood's
OpenAI has been around, and the whole industry for much longer. And so what we're really seeing is a world where there's going to be absolute compute scarcity because there's going to be so much demand for AI
AMD,
services, and not just from
not
OpenAI,
much
really
profit
from the whole
taking,
ecosystem.
honestly.
And so that's why it's just so
Apple
important
down,
for this whole industry to
Broadcom
come together and say, how can we build
coin down,
in advance of
CoreWeave
this
up,
compute desert that we're heading towards
down.
otherwise?
Microsoft
Right,
was
Lisa,
up. Someone just got
I've known you
hit.
for some time.
MicroStrategy.
I just got to ask this. Did it
Meta
cross your
down.
mind, well, I don't know, maybe these guys can't pay. I'm making this big build out, and here I am. I'm listening to Wall Street. Wall Street says they don't have the money, and maybe I'm being foolish.
Well, actually, no, Jim. I'll tell you with very, very clear, this is the new world. I mean, AI compute can drive so much intelligence in the world. We see it everywhere. I mean, we love the partnership with OpenAI, but frankly, we have a number of other customers that are doing great work in AI. And the fact is, this is an entire industry and ecosystem. It's not just about, what's happening today. It's really about what we can enable in the future. And, I like to say, we're on a 10-year growth path with AI, and we're still in the very early innings. And at the end of the day, You need the foundational compute to do that. And you need partnerships like this that really bring the ecosystem together to ensure that, we can really get the best technologies, out there. So we're super excited about the opportunities here. And frankly, it's what AI can do for the world. It is, beyond the infrastructure.
And what the
but
world
we're,
can
very,
do for AI.
Very happy to be able to provide a significant piece of this infrastructure.
And Greg, to Jim's point, there's the financing concern, but there's also sort of the broader public concern about how the technology at large will displace employment, the drain on resources, whether that's water or electricity, what it does to local communities if a data center is built. Is the industry, in your view, sort of prepping a way to educate America or the world why they should be not as worried about those things?
Yeah, I think there's two aspects to this. One is the industry really preparing to improve every part of the supply chain. And I think that's everything from the electrons to the silicon. And if you look at where the technology is going, that I think that things like water use, that we're moving away from air-cooled data centers towards these water-cooled data centers that are on a closed loop. And so that I think actually that the resources required are something that we're really focused on trying to make sure that there can be enough, and that the benefits of the AI technology are commensurate. I think people really understanding why. Like, why is AI important? Why is this something that is worth building? Is very fundamental, and that's very fundamental to OpenAI's mission. Our mission is to ensure that this technology benefits everyone, that it benefits all of humanity. And that what we've been seeing is not just that there's productivity enhancement, but we're moving to a world where AI will be able to help humanity solve challenges that we would be unable to solve otherwise. Think about solving, curing various diseases. Think about being able to educate every person with an AI that's at the level of the top PhDs in every single field for free on your phone. We're not that far from these kinds of enhancements. And I think that we're heading to a world where AI will help humanity just do more than we possibly could otherwise. And the fact that we've seen this level of adoption already, when the AI, it's capable, but it's really we're at the beginning stages compared to where we will be in just a couple years. I think that people are starting to understand not just the theory of why this is important, but they're seeing it practically in their everyday lives.
All right, so Greg, some people are saying you're doing this out of fear that you'll be overrun by others unless you buy all these chips. And some people are saying, look, it's just flat out demand. And if you were there, you would realize you have no choice, but you have to spend.
Potential bottom here at 943.
No choice. We have to do this. This is so core to our mission. If we really want to be able to scale to reach all of humanity, this is what we have to do. Like, we're already in a world where we are unable to launch many features in ChatGPT, many products that would generate lots of revenue.
I tried to take this long right here at 949, just got stopped out, small
Things
loss.
like, yeah, it's really wild when I just look at how much we are held back. And in many ways,
at 68, out at 48,
we've
20
scaled
point
our compute
hit.
Probably 10x over the past year. But if we had 10x more compute, I don't know if we had 10x more revenue.
Shoulder,
but I don't
head,
think it'd be that
shoulder.
far.
That was my risk.
Wow.
Just didn't work.
Okay, that's really important. Lisa, and it is, look, I'm a believer, but sit here and decide that this man who's in it doesn't know more than some reporter. I'm not going to go there. Lisa, I got to ask China for a second. You lost some revenue in China. I know China seems very minuscule today, but your talks with the White House, don't you think that the president wants things built on an American platform and not built on a Huawei platform?
You got people taking their money.
Well, first of all, Jim, I just want to reinforce what Greg said. This is a place where AI compute is needed everywhere. And, our goal is to get as much AI compute deployed as possible. So super excited about that. As it relates to China, look, we view that it's important for the American AI stack to be used around the world as much as possible. We appreciate the president's support. This administration has been extremely supportive to us as American companies, and we'll continue to work through those pieces. But today is really about just the global AI demand and the opportunity to, as Greg says, deploy as much compute as possible. We have the technology, we have the supply chain, we have the partnerships. Really special day for us, and we view this as the beginning of lots and lots of things that we will be doing together.
Absolutely. Now, Greg, some people say you are looking and targeting certain verticals. You announced the Etsy deal last week. Maybe it's retail. We know that you with
Order
Stargate, it could be
committee.
massive compute. We're not sure. Do you want to be in every vertical? Because if you want to be in, is this one of those where if you fight in every battle, you can't win any? Are there some that you just think, look, we don't want to be in autonomous driving, we don't want to be in robots? Or do you say the world's our oyster, let's be in everything, we can win everything?
Well, and first of all, I'd also like to add to what Lisa said, that I think compute power is
I took
going to
another
become
stab at
a
it. I'm
national
long again
security
on this little
asset.
pop here.
And I think that having as much compute
Right
power
here,
as possible
risking the
for
recent low.
each nation is going to be
If I
something
can catch
that
it,
we'll see on
sick.
the world stage.
If I take a hit,
and that's
it's
part
small,
of what
it's
feeds all of
survivable.
this demand and need to do the build out. In terms of the verticals that we're in,
It's a long
I think
trade
that this
on
is
NQ.
always a very difficult decision for us, because we really think about AI as something that lifts up the whole economy, but we can't possibly be experts in every single
trying to
domain of
see
the
if
economy.
this is
So we have
actually
to
a new
focus
trend
on
for
the
the
areas that we
S&P
can most
500.
understand and add value, and that really accrete together. And so we think about things like coding. That's an area that we've really gone deep. We've released
Tesla
models like
was
Codex
looking
and
good,
systems
getting kinda hit
around
now.
it that are used by developers to be able to achieve much more than they would otherwise. And that we think that bringing that
Microsoft
into
is looking
various
good.
enterprise verticals, right?
NVIDIA
in AI
was
for
good,
sales,
giving a little
in
back.
AI for customer support, that is
Palantir is
able to
looking
enhance
good.
what people are able to do and help every company be much more productive.
On an
We think that is the
intraday
next step.
basis,
So there are some verticals where it's just too
Microsoft
far
and
afield
Palantir
for
are
us to
looking
really
the
get
best
our
on
hands
an
dirty.
intraday basis.
But we really see that we want to be the driving force behind an industry that is going to transform every vertical of the economy.
All right. Finally, Greg, I hope you'll allow me one question on Sora, because Sam did have a blog post on Friday where he said, look, we're beginning to hear back from users and rights holders and people who want the ability to specify how their characters can be used, including not at all. Can you just give us a preview on what kind of safeguards you have in mind?
Well, Sora, first of
Mag
all,
7
is a
still
really
taking a hit.
transformative new
Spy is going
technology.
flat.
And it's been really amazing to see the excitement and enthusiasm and passion of all the Sora creators. And I think that whenever you have a new technology that's coming into the world, that really figuring out how to turn it into something that is able
Coin
to
downside
benefit
gap
everyone
fill.
is something we're very focused on. And so we've been really focused on taking feedback from every sector, right? From really listening to rights holders, listening to users, trying to figure out where does this technology most benefit people. So we're really thinking
AMD
about
is actually surprisingly
this is
flat
something
right
new.
now.
Like that when we were first playing with the technology, we had some ideas of how existing short-form video apps
Palantir's
might
up.
map to this kind of technology.
Tesla
but the truth
was
is,
up,
the
now
world's never
down.
seen anything like Sora. And the amount of creativity that we've seen unleashed, and even just the ability to put yourself into a video, no one's ever had anything like that. And so I think there's a whole new opportunity here for a new industry and for ways for people to enhance their existing IP portfolios and to create whole new ones.
Thank you, Greg, so much. And again, Lisa, those who doubted you obviously are suboptimal thinkers. Congratulations.
Suboptimal thinkers.
Thank you so much. Great to see you guys this morning.
Thank you.
Greg and Lisa.
What a line.
Yeah, that's a seminal interview right there. Jim, we'll see you tonight.
What a line. They are suboptimal thinkers. What do you guys think? If you're betting against AMD, are you a suboptimal thinker? Is that what's going on? Oh, Jesus. Am I about to get clocked here? I think so. I think so. I could almost get out for break even. Do I just want to do that? Feels like I really do enjoy the days I could get out for break even if I don't like the play. I'm watching. I have my finger on the close button. Break even? Is it going to let me out? Is it going to let me out? I'm long at 49.75 on NQ here. I was trying to play this bounce. That's why I'm basically break even at 9.52. I said, okay, high or low. We popped up. We came back. We're starting to swing back up. Appears to be a higher low relative to this. Obviously, the bounce itself did not have much going on with it. What's weird is SPY keeps getting hit. So we have a little bit of divergence. And I'm just wondering maybe if I should just ditch it. Who do I think? Who's right here? See, what's the issue is the SPY has a high likelihood of hitting 6715 today. I should probably just, as I'm saying this to you, and I'm giving reasonings of why I don't like it here. I'm going to see if I could get out for break even for a scratch trade. Is it going to let me out? Come on, I need a little bit of a bounce. Just a little bit of a baby bounce. All right. I'm just going to force it out. Force out the position.
Order submitted.
Force out the position. Anyway, if you do some analysis on the S&P 500, the index I'm specifically referring to, see here how we opened up at 6734. On any given day, the odds of hitting the previous day's closing value, 6715. Sorry if my head's blocking it right here, 6715. This is where we closed out at 4 p.m. on Friday. The
Order
odds
canceled. Order canceled.
The fuck is going on?
Order canceled.
I'm confused. I don't know what my positions either are or aren't. I thought I was flat. That's probably not good, team. Probably not good. Anyway, in a general sense, the odds of hitting the previous day closing value is very high. The issue there is you don't know when. Like, obviously, if you look at Friday as an example, we ended up doing it, but there's you could have quite a bit of movement in between hitting it and not hitting it. So that's not something that necessarily, I mean, hey, maybe you could take the strategy and update it here or there and do whatever you need to. But once again, in a general sense, you can pop for an hour and then drop. You might drop right to it. So it's not really commentary on when it happens. The statement in itself is just it happens at some point the next trading day. Might be at market open, might be midday, might be late day. It's not a guarantee. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen at a high hit rate. So the way you could actually utilize that as a trader is more of, okay, maybe that's a target value. Maybe you caught a trend and you did it with low risk and you're attempting to ride it. Something like that maybe is a better mindset. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck happened over here. And I'm also trying to figure out the difference between the Qs popping and the SPY dropping. SPY is dropping to 1. Well, so we have upcoming support. If you're playing the S&P 500, which is obviously a bit different than the Qs today because semiconductors are having quite the push. What is going on? Folks, I don't know what's going on here at all. Completely confused. And I'm getting weird dings. What the fuck is happening? Knowing my luck from Friday, I'm probably in a position I don't want to be in. And really knowing my luck from Friday, I'm probably in the complete opposite position that I want to be in. But anyway, potential higher lows here on the Qs. But I don't like this setup because the SPY is just diving. So you could see the clear difference between the SPY and the Qs. SPY is just lower highs, lower lows, just diving, while the Qs were diving at first and then starting now. What's going on with Tesla? Ooh, potential bounce back in Tesla. Potential bounce back in Tesla. I was eyeing up the 460 strikes on Tesla. I was eyeing up the 460 strikes in old Tesla. I have no position on it at the moment. Celebrating 5,000 stocks of play. I just locked in. Congrats, man. That is huge. 10 a.m. a pump incoming? Could be. We've recently been seeing a lot of 10 a.m. reversals, and I don't know. The SPY is clearly down while the Qs were trying to save themselves. We're attempting. Ooh, SPY just got clocked pretty hard there. Look at this. I'm telling you, folks, I don't know. I show you guys the math. I show you the analysis. I give you the statistics. And then yet I see a lot of people are still surprised when it happens. What's worse than this on SPX, and we know the odds of the downside gap fill, what's worse is if you look on the Qs, there's a gap in the chart right here from where we closed out Friday afternoon to where we opened Sunday night. There's a gap all the way down to 24,986. That's a large gap. I mean, we are talking, not even percent. How many points is that? 162 points on NQ. And then actually we have a similar situation on ES. The downside gap fill is all the way to, This one's closer. It's to 6,763. But you can see the literal gap in the chart. And when you see that on futures, actually, oddly enough, it is more likely that futures gaps get filled than like either ETFs or the index. Actually, in terms of which underlying fills the gap the most often, it's futures because of the Globex trading session. So the fact that we see this gap right here, which we are, I don't know, seemingly working on filling right now, the fact that we see that, it's rare and definitely something, it's an interesting target level. So if you happen to be trading ES, you might be watching 6763.25. If you're watching NQ, you might want to be watching all the way down here at 24,985.75. Oh, what just happened? Tesla, potential fake out there. Intraday, SPY is just bleeding as we are still seeing a continuation of the delta just going down and down and down. We are seeing calls being sold for sure on the 0DT and some 0DT puts being purchased. As of now, it is 0DTE movement. The 0DTE and the all expiration is pretty much in tandem. They're pretty much in lockstep. They're not really that much different. So quite a bit of call selling, 0DTE call selling from 931 to 943. Probably people who swung it over the weekend, locking in their profits. But what's making the delta worse is you had two separate jolts to the downside on 0DTE puts. The Qs are getting a bit of a pop right now. Are the Qs going to lead us higher, or is the SPY going to lead us lower? We haven't hit this yet. I don't know. I already got clocked once, and also who knows what the fuck's going on with my data in a general sense. I already got clocked once. I got clocked. I don't know if I'm that interested in buying the dip yet. I'd prefer that we hit 15 just to get this close and not hit it. We got within 4 points, 40 cents in the SPY, but it's kind of hard to argue with the strength of the NASDAQ at this moment. Kind of hard to argue with the strength. But like, there's something in the back of my head that says, dude, we got to be careful about this gap fill in NQ. We opened up with strength at 6 p.m. yesterday on Sunday. That's when the futures market opens. I see the strength right here. Looks like we caught support, and who knows? Maybe this gap doesn't get filled today. That's 100% possible. There's no such thing as like a rule that it has to get filled. That just simply doesn't exist. But something, I don't know. Maybe I'm taking crazy pills. I am watching Tesla. I'm interested in making a new position in it. But I'd be more willing to make a position in it had we already gotten this gap fill, had we already hit the closing value. Like I said, I am bullish and I'm attempting to make bullish positions. I just don't want to front run it. I don't want to be too early. Microsoft, Oracle, AMD, maybe finally flattening out after 30 minutes of selling off. It's up still quite a bit. It's just obviously intraday. This is exactly why I told everyone to be careful about profit taking. What do we have? BMNR looking solid today. That's just going to be highly correlated with Ethereum, and over the weekend, crypto was just ripping. You're taking Tylenol? Dude, it feels like it. It feels like it. If I'm being honest, it does feel like your boy's taking a bit of Tylenol. All right, so the Qs are very much battling it out at the high from Friday, which was the all-time high until today's open. It's also has just, that's the high from Thursday and Friday. That's the dash line and the solid line. I am watching this upsloping trend line. Generally, I'd be like, nope, we now have higher lows, time to break out. But I'm being mindful of the fact that the SPY is only trending down, which is making me hesitant about throwing on a bullish position at this moment. I tried it really early today. Like super early, where was it? Right here at 9:49, because I was like, oh, that's a jolt. Maybe we'll bounce back up. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Obviously didn't happen. A couple minutes later, I was knocked out. And then from there, everyone just went kind of crazy again. Someone said Bitcoin is flying. Bitcoin is looking good. Bitcoin currently trading at 125,000 and some change. Currently trading at 125 and some change. All right. This is what I'm looking for, folks. I'm looking for 15, and if this doesn't hold, 705, which is the low from Friday, and then really remember this white block is the overall transitional area, bullish above, bearish below, but there is a 15-point region of support. We have the closing value at 6715.78. 6715 in itself is a big level right here. You can see big positive gamma, and then the other side of it is a little bit of a gamma node. There are people playing 6680. I do want to call that out to everyone, but right here, 6,700, 6680. So just some interesting levels to watch. Watching here, 15-point region of support, and then I need to move this down because this got shifted. This morning, people were betting on the 90s, and now they are betting on the 80s, which once again is this negative gamma node. Actually, I should move it up because this is a put credit spread. Sorry. Right here, we have a call credit spread at 6765, 6770. That's a bet that we will close today under 6765. And then down here, you have a put credit spread at 6685, spread by 6680. That's a bet that we will conclude the day above 6685. So when you put these two bets together, they're basically saying we will close within this region. So that's at 85. So let me once again, my apologies, readjust. And this is the level 85. So 85. Okay. So this is the start of the put credit spread, and the call credit spread is all the way up at 6765. Decent size. Looks like it's double the unit size than normal. Generally, this is around 4,000 or 5,000. And you can see today the call credit spread is 8,000 and the put credit spread is about 10,000. Rush playing Chicago. Shout out, Matt. All right, watch this trend line on the Qs. Bitcoin is looking good. Oracle, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla. Potential trend line breakdown here on QQQ. Potential trend line breakdown on QQQ. Oh, maybe I should take a look at these accounts and see what the fuck is going on. Well, I, for one, am flabbergasted. My gast is flabbered. All right, did we hit it yet? We did not. All right. I'll set an alert here so we know the exact moment we hit that closing value. It's just a high odds play. Bayesian probabilities. If you open above, depending on the distance, very good chance of hitting the closing value. Obviously, the closer you are to the opening, the closer this distance is, the more likely it is, which makes sense because you have less distance to travel. As of right now, the Mag 7 puked at 10. It tried to get a pop. The pop lasts for about 5 minutes, and then the delta started going down once again. And then if you look at the S&P 500, nothing but down all day. So if you are, quote unquote, attempting to buy this dip, we're just not seeing the signs of it yet. Just because we haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Today might very well be an amazing ripper of a day. Like overall, we opened up strong and now you're seeing profit taking. But like we've been seeing for about, 2 to 3 weeks straight, it's just when we open up with a lot of strength, there's a lot of people taking their profits. So just you don't have to guess when they're done. Just wait. Like literally all you have to do is be like, okay, are they done? No. Are they done? No. So just wait. You don't have to predict these type of things. Don't predict at time X or at this level. That's when profit taking's done. That's when the short-term bears are done with the play. No, literally just sit on your hands and do nothing. Just literally do nothing. Just wait and wait and wait. Now on the flip side, if you are bearish and maybe you played the downside gap fill and you're still playing it, well, stay in the play as long as the data is intact. As long as you're like, yeah, no, it's diving. And okay, maybe you're paying attention a little bit more right now. That's a pop. How big's the pop going to be? Obviously, you still have to have some form of risk management where it goes so much in your favor. The stop at worst should be at break even, like the concept of like the free lotto plays, that type of a thing. So my bias is bullish for sure on a swing perspective. On an intraday perspective, it's whatever. It just depends on that exact setup and what's going on. But whether you're bullish or bearish, don't try to predict. There's so many retail traders day in and day out attempting to predict the exact highs, the exact lows, reverse. Literally just wait and sit there and watch and be like, okay, ask yourself, are we getting higher highs and higher lows or lower highs and lower lows? Ask yourself, are the SPY and Qs, are they in sync or are they telling a different story? And then also look at the options flow. Are people buying calls? Are they selling calls? Are they buying puts? Are they selling puts? You don't have to overcomplicate it. Just look at the measured data and ask yourself, okay, based on all this, are you getting a conclusive story about one side or the other? Is it all screaming bullish? Great, be bullish. Is it all screaming bearish? Great, be bearish. If it's not doing that, then just don't do anything. Just wait. But to really just drive home this point, even this pop, I have to admit, it looks interesting. 10, 11, 10, 12. Those pops look interesting to me. The reason I'm not taking it is because I know the odds of hitting 6715 is very high. And even though that looks good, I'm like, oh, great. It overshot it. Okay, maybe like at this point, my stop could have probably already been break even. Like I get that looks enticing, but knowing the odds is 6715 getting hit at some point today, knowing that we haven't had the strongest options movement, it tells me maybe not the best odds. And whatever, maybe that's the perfect time to buy. And maybe we come back later today and we're all kicking ourselves like amazing how that could have gone. But remember, I can show you a gazillion different counter examples where if you did it, especially in this setup where the options flow is still kind of looking weak, you got like just absolutely steamrolled. So remember, one piece of data doesn't really negate an entire, generalized average or median viewpoint of the market, because there's no such thing as something that always works. There's really no such thing as something that never works. It's kind of just like the game of odds, like the game of active trading, swing trading, that type of shit. It's honestly just, it's basic odds of like, hey, whenever we've been in a similar situation in the past, it's worked out X% before. Here's a generalized idea of risk. Here's a generalized idea of reward. Do you want to take a shot? That's the game of it. You're not in this to try to be right we attempt to be right all the time. But if you're measuring yourself against were you right all the time, you're going to be pretty upset. You're going to be upset. Did your Microsoft swinger hit? What do you mean hit? I got into it today. It's a swing play, as in I'm going to probably be in it for multiple days, maybe even multiple weeks. I do kind of like Tesla. I do kind of like Tesla. I kind of like Microsoft. I kind of like Tesla. I kind of like Oracle. What I don't like, I like how the chart is looking on the SPY and the Qs. Looks like it's a double bottom. My life would have been so much easier if we just tapped this value. It would have been so much easier. There's been too many times that I've seen it get this close. It starts to pop and you're like, whatever, it's close, I'll chase it. And then it does break out and you broke these highs, you broke these highs, you broke these highs, you broke 1, 2, 3, like 4 sets of highs, and then it dumps down anyway. Like I've just been caught up in it too many times where I'm like, I know it's like the woulda, coulda, shoulda thing of like, if I chased it, I like whatever, but I've just seen it way too many times where you get close and then you start to rationalize and you're like, well, that's close enough, we'll do it. But like the odds are the odds for a reason, and you don't want to deviate. You don't want to deviate. I'm getting an alert on CoreWeave. Fucking CoreWeave. CoreWeave. Oh. Why is that spread by so much? Is that why I always just get fucked on CoreWeave? Is because I do market orders? Fucking CoreWeave. Potential higher low here on CoreWeave. Wow. Wow. This thing moves. Yes, it does. Jesus. Wow, this thing really moves. Wow, dude, CoreWeave is just moving. What the fuck just happened to CoreWeave? I don't think I got my fill. I might need to pull this order because that's crazy. All right, yeah, I'm canceling that order. That just exploded out of nowhere. Wow. Fuck. Another one I just missed. Yeah. I was chasing that one way too much. Way too much. All right, I killed that order. I'm not going to get into it. That it's already $4 past where the alert went off. So sometimes you just don't catch it, team. SPY popped, but this is that scary thing I was telling you about where it looks good. You're like, okay, it's a double bottom, lot of movement, lot of people hitting the ask. It takes out a high, but the fact that we did not hit it, I don't know, it freaks me out. Now, maybe you view the market in a different way. Maybe you have a different strategy that, once again, is backed up by an extensive amount of research. And hey, maybe you're like, nope, because of XYZ, completely unrelated to the way I look at the market. You're like, nope, I want to buy there. And you buy it there. And maybe it's great. And hey, if you did your math, you did your math. And I'm not one to blame you. But I guess I feel as if I have the stats, and I feel as if anecdotally I've seen it too many times where you're like, yo, double bottom, even better, higher high, higher high, higher high. We took out all these highs, and then it's just, that's the brutal dagger. So why couldn't it have just dipped there? I would have loved at 10:01 if we went all the way down there, found support, popped up, double bottom right at this level, and then from there, I'd feel so much more confident in the whole thing. But right now, if it does take off, it's going to be taken off without me, unfortunately. If it does take off, I do not have a ticket to that rocket ship. I am getting, look at that. Good thing I pulled my order on CoreWeave. Look at that. That's brutal. I did just get an alert on SoFi. A lot of you have been yelling at me about SoFi recently. Potential technical recovery on SoFi. Pump, pulls back, lower highs, lower lows. This is the first high. This could be your recovery on SoFi. I currently have no position on it, but honestly, I don't dislike this at all. You're risking $1.50 to potentially make $4. That's an ideal risk to reward setup, folks. Like I said, I currently have no position on SoFi, but that does look interesting. You know what? Let's do a dive into SoFi. Let's see if we could see. What's it currently trading at? 26. 25 is giant support on SoFi. And then people are targeting 28 and they're targeting 30 with 30. That's not a bad setup at all. Risking 25 to go to 30, currently trading at 26.50. You're risking exactly the 50 EMA to ride it all the way back up. I might join in on SoFi. I haven't played it, but to me, that's a good risk-reward opportunity. To me, that is a good risk-reward opportunity. All right, let's see. I'm kind of watching CoreWeave still. Maybe we should look at CoreWeave's breakdown. CoreWeave is what? CoreWeave is 142 right now. Resistance at 145. That's a no from me, dog. Resistance is way too close. I'm very happy I didn't get a fill on that play. Extraordinarily happy I didn't get a fill on that play. I didn't realize that I was buying it. 145, we got rejected at 144.40. 145, I'm showing you right here. That's a lot of positive gamma. Just, it's not the play for me. It's not the play for me. If it's the play for you, hey, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you crush it. Was hoping for an opinion on Rocket Lab. Looks really good if you already have a position. If you already have a bullish position, looks good, but it doesn't look worthwhile to create a position right now because your risk is too high. It's going long at the all-time high when your risk is a good 17% away, just not worth it. However, if you already have a bullish position and you're like in over here, or ideally even a better value, but the last time for you to get in was on Thursday. Like, you really shouldn't be in at any extreme of a value beyond 49, and you were risking 46, and now your stop could be break even. So I guess my opinion on it is, if you already have a bullish position, ride the trend. If you have no position, well, it's really strong, so I wouldn't fade it, and it's too far away from your risk to create a new bullish position. Can I take a quick look at OKTA? Yeah, it looks like shit. Looks like it vomited, try to go. Looks like it's going to be pressing this trend line. If I had to play OKTA, I'd be betting against it. And if I was all right accepting the risk of 95.50, trading at 91, if I'm okay risking $4.50, I'd be betting against it. And you're looking for the breakdown of 87. Does not look good, though. It doesn't look bullish. It looks bearish. So if you're bearish, hey, congrats. Yeah, CoreWeave getting smacked. Very happy I didn't chase that. Very happy I did not chase that. Where's my SoFi now that I'm a SoFi jabroni? Now that I'm a SoFi jabroni. Palantir was looking good, just kind of got hit. NVIDIA is fighting back. Broadcom is nicely fighting back. Coin is fighting back. Apple is fighting back. Hood is flat. Hut is decent. Oklo had a great push this morning. I can't believe I got out of that on Friday. SPY was getting hit, lower highs and lower lows. We saw this reversal around 1010, 1012-ish, a new succession of higher highs and higher lows, as in going from bearish to bullish. But I'm not liking it, folks. I think it's fake. I see the Qs are once again pressing on this trend line. If that snaps, obviously the levels to watch are 606.55 and obviously 606.09. And maybe it bounces here. Maybe this is just a higher low and it rips. But really, I can't drive this home enough. What I don't like is we just didn't hit 6715. To get that close and not hit it is statistically rare. I'm not saying impossible, and I'm not telling you whatsoever that you should just be buying puts because of this. It's something in the back of my mind I just really don't like. And also, we know there's a downside gap fill on NQ to where the Globex session officially closed out on Friday, which is like 150 points below. So there's something about it. My spidey senses are tingling, folks. And maybe my spidey senses are wrong. That's a fair argument. I'm not saying my spidey senses are perfect, but I'd rather just protect myself. And if it takes off without me today, it takes off without me. That's fine. There's always tomorrow. I would rather miss a good play than get into a bad play. The asymmetric nature of what that does or doesn't to your account is two very different things, folks. It is completely acceptable. You will survive as a trader if you miss a good play. If you somehow fuck it all up and get into a bunch of bad plays, that's where you like blow out and you lose the game. Those are not polar opposites of each other. Taking on a bad play is way, way, way worse than missing out on a good play. Can you take a look at TGT for long-term? Long-term isn't anything about options or technicals. That's literally a fundamental breakdown. Whenever you talk about long-term, You probably shouldn't care about the chart. You probably shouldn't care about the current options flow or anything like that. When you talk about long-term, that means fundamentally, do you like the company? And I don't know anything about Target fundamentally off the top of my head. I think there's more exciting things going on, so I'm not that interested in it. But when you ask about long-term, that's not a technical breakdown. That's not a chart breakdown. That's not an options breakdown. Long-term analysis is basically the same as fundamental analysis. That's where do you think this is going in 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 years? So you're trying to make an analysis of overall trends related to that one. Thoughts on IERN? It's kind of riding the AI wave. GLD, yeah, gold at an all-time high. But once again, that doesn't mean you chase it. If you're already in it, ride the trend. But I'm not going to fade it because it's too strong. And I'm not going to get in right now because risk is too far away. But I also already have exposure to some commodities in my long-term investment account. All right, I think this snaps. I'm throwing out a prediction. And I know I've told you I hate predictions. But I just want to reiterate the likelihood of this because we just got back up to this key level. Okay, interesting. We're back at this key level. I think the market's going to react to it in a sense of taking their profits. I'm looking for this green line to dip. I'm looking for 0 DTE call buyers to lock in their profits at this key gamma level, which will snap this recent support of 25 and send us back down to the intraday low of 17 and then tapping 15. And then from there, that's when the game is on. That's when the game is on. So I am looking for 0 DTE call buyers to start locking in their profits. They're doing it a tiny, tiny bit. If anything, we're actually seeing more puts being purchased at this level. And why this level? It's just a key open interest level right here. You could see it. Let me go to the gamma. Right here. You can see we ran back up to a pretty sizable negative gamma node. So I'm looking for profit takers. And that negative gamma node is probably 0 DTE call buyers buying the 6,730. So now that they're going from out of the money to in the money, there's psychological impacts. And people are like, cool, ready to take my profits. Potential breakdown here on the Qs. Fake out, blow off top at 821. Snapping this trend line. Watch for support at 606.50. Little 5 cents above, 5 cents below. And then really what I'm watching is this intraday low. And if the intraday low snaps, it's a brutal fall, but there is a very real shot we go all the way down to 25,000 flat on the NQ contract. It's just right now we're at that decision point. It has to decide right here. Are buyers going to step in and pop it back up about, 30 points? Or are we going to snap and then retest the intraday low? If I knew definitively which way this was going to go, I would not be doing this job, folks. I'd be a billionaire. I'd be on a beach somewhere in my 19th beach house. No one can definitively tell you which way this is going to go because none of it is predestined. Remember, where we go is it's only dependent on people who are about to trade. Yes, that does include high-frequency traders and robots, but it involves hedge funds, pension funds, insurance funds, the combination of retail traders. If in aggregate from here, it is currently 1031, if people decide in net to aggressively buy, we will pop. If they decide in net to aggressively sell, we will drop. None of it is predestined. I've noticed on Twitter specifically, there is a growing thought process that there is some sort of algorithm or something in that nature that runs the market. There is no such thing. There is absolutely no such thing. The market is not predestined. It is predestined for me to have data issues and fuck up my futures accounts. That is predestined. But this concept of there's this algorithm that runs the market. If you believe that, whatever, maybe you're new to the market. If you believe that and you are a veteran to the market, well, maybe your mom just took a little bit too much Tylenol, because that's just simply how markets, they don't work that way. They don't work that way whatsoever. I like how you said missing a trade is better than getting a bad trade. Great thoughts. Sometimes you say things that really stick with me, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Someone said core weave. What? Am I missing another play? I saw that it was getting hit. Where's core weave? Whoa, dude, I am so happy I missed that. It was honestly, that's luck that I missed it because I was like, oh, I didn't get it fill and it ran too far away. Holy crap, 144 down to 138. I am incredibly happy that my order did not get filled. That would have cost me some dinero, brother. That would have cost me some dinero. All right, potential triple double bottom here on the Qs. We are wicking right at that same level. The SPY is still showing strength. The Mag 7, weird, it dropped, it popped, it dropped again. This is a higher low, trying to curl back up. The S&P 500, we have not seen that 0 DTE call selling yet. We've been, ever since 1010, we've seen 0 DTE call buying. And we are right back at this level. This is the pivotal level. This is where the market has to decide. We're either going to snap below 25 or we're going to comfortably sit above 32. That's it. Wait. CoreWeave will move this one up. Wow, CoreWeave got done. Was there news on CoreWeave that caused all of this? Because that feels like quite a reaction for just like normal trading. It feels like it has to be CoreWeave looks ready to run. I mean, is there news on it though? Like, why did it? Maybe big options positions. I'm not seeing anything. If you guys have any news, maybe people just got stoked by the technicals. Maybe they got stoked by the technicals. I'm not seeing anything major jump out to me. But the tale of two stories. Earlier today, the SPY was clearly the weaker one, and now it's stronger, while the Qs were the stronger one, and now they're behaving as the weaker one. All right, so here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to watch... on the SPY, watch 670, and then obviously the intraday low, which is very close to you, the closing value on Friday. Let me set up this alert on the Qs. So I just set up an alert on the intraday low breakdown on both the SPY and the Qs, so we're not going to miss that. And I don't know, I'm a little surprised here. We're hugging 6-730 pretty good. The NQ is starting to break down. I need to do my job and remind everyone there is a downside gap fill all the way to 24,986 on NQ. I have to do my job. That's my job. And whether it happens or not, well, if it happens, I'm going to seem like a genius. If it doesn't happen, I would ask of you guys, my loyal, forgiving viewers, to very rapidly erase it out of your mind. Oh, I should also let you know, if you're just joining in right now, there is a iron condor in play, a 0 DTE iron condor. The call credit spread is up at 6.765. The put credit spread is down at 6.685. 6.685. So basically bearish below that, but bullish above this. They are betting that we conclude somewhere in between 6.765 and 6.685. That is what an iron condor is. Is there any questions on that, on the iron condor, especially if maybe someone in chat needs a refresher? Maybe we have a newer viewer in the audience, because it is considered to be more of an advanced option strategy, but it's basically combining an over and an under bet. You have an under bet at a higher value and an over bet at a lower value. So you're betting that you conclude within the day. It's an iron condor. It's a combination of a call credit spread and a put credit spread. It is a 4-leg options position. It involves selling a call and buying a call. It involves selling a put and buying a put. Those together at 4 different strikes creates the call credit spread, the put credit spread. And then you put those two spreads together, and that's how you get the iron condor. So it's kind of like, oh, I don't know. If you played Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're trying to build out Exodia, you needed all the pieces, except I believe Exodia was a 5-piece construction. This is a 4-piece construction. So the right side, the right arm and the right leg would be the call credit spread. The left arm and the left leg would be the put credit spread. So you have the right side, the credit spread, the call credit spread, and then the left side, the put credit spread. I feel like that makes sense. I feel like you guys are mopping up my spill at this point. Dude, Palantir's fighting back. CoreWeave got hit. Tesla's looking decent. You guys get that. Honestly, after today's move, if you have puts or call credit spreads, I would expect to get assigned. If you have puts, you don't get randomly assigned if you are the person who is long the premium, right? If you are long the call or long the put, you get to decide. Obviously, if you're short it, that might be an issue. But if you're short puts on a gap up like this, I don't think it's like statistically common to be assigned. Is AMD going to give up all its move? No one knows. If we knew that, we wouldn't have to do this. Coins looking good. CoreWeave gave that all back, dude. Wow. I'm really, really surprised here. What is going on? What in the world is happening today? Okay, so this is kind of strange. The Qs got incredibly close to their intraday low, and simultaneously, the SPY earlier today around 10:10 got incredibly close to their closing value from Friday. And yet, neither of these actually hit those values. This is thus far a day of, wow, that was close. And I'm also very, very surprised at the shift. There's a shift from the SPY being weaker to the Qs being weaker. At early today, it seems like it kind of all switched right around the 10 a.m. hour, where the SPY was weaker, the Qs were stronger. Then post 10, it's now flipped. You could actually see the flip right here where my cursor is. Right at 10:20, the SPY kept going up. The Q started to take a hit. It's not Tesla. CoreWeave isn't big enough to be managed. It's definitely not Tesla. Microsoft is strong. AMD is now flat. Oracle is flat. Palantir is strong. Where's NVIDIA? NVIDIA, a little bit of a dip there, starting at 10.25. Where's Apple? Apple as well, a little bit of a dip. But I find it strange that this is a day of we almost hit levels that people would react to, but in a certain sense, they undershot it because we bounced earlier. And also the pivot, the flow of money. So is energy looking strong? Energy's had a decent bounce. It's financials. This is the difference. Remember, the best way to describe Qs, and I'm probably guilty of this myself, I'll be the first to admit it, is a lot of people refer to the NASDAQ as tech, and there's a lot of tech in it, but there's also other things in it that are clearly not tech. And probably the most reasonable way to really think about it is lack of finance. That's probably the best way. It's like you think of, if you have to really think about what the NASDAQ is, it's all of the main players in the S&P 500 excluding finance. That's probably a more accurate way to describe what the NASDAQ is. And obviously that means leftover, it's tech dominated, and that's why people think it is tech. But if you actually want to know pure tech, it's XLK. That's pure tech. XLK is the tech subsector of the S&P 500. QQQ is tech, and it's a couple of other things, but most noteworthy, there's no finance in it. So if you want to see the difference of what's happening in the SPY and the Qs, look at what started to bounce at 10:10. Finance started to get a real fucking pop right there. So I hope that maybe helps clear up a little bit of confusion between what these things are and aren't. Like I said, I'm guilty of it. I describe NASDAQ all the time as tech, but if you were to be like a real stickler on it, you'd be like, it's more of lack of finance. But anyway, like I said, I still very much believe, just going on basic odds, that we are going down to 6715.78. And then from there, I have no fucking guess. And then if you're looking at if you're looking at the Qs, what is this? Whatever this is. What is this level right here? 25116.75. And then obviously you have a key level, 25,100. And you also have a key level at 25,000 flat. And then you also have a downside gap fill at 24,985.75. Hope that helps someone. Hopefully it does. Hopefully. Did someone say we need more cowbell? I do not disagree. I do not disagree. Hello? I don't know what's going on with my accounts. I'm getting weird alerts. Isn't this new copier that I'm doing? Thoroughly confused. Okay, the SPY almost hit this recent low, and the Qs did, as of now, catch a bid at the intraday low. So that's why a lot of people, when they're trading, especially on an intraday basis, they target the intraday extremes because of circumstances like you're literally witnessing right now. Like, lock it in, maybe you have a runner, and then you move on with your life. Tesla is having a good day, a very good day. CoreWeave not recovering, Coin, Avago, Palantir, NVIDIA, Tesla, SoFi, Microsoft, Oracle. Wow, look at that dip and that pop. Right back to 6,730. Maybe it's one of those days where the S&P 500 is just going to hug 6,730 all fucking day. Maybe it's going to be one of those days. I don't know, man. I still see this region right here where it just got a little haywire pretty quick. This region, the second white box, I think it wants to reevaluate at minimum what's going in here, because we ripped through that without much trade volume. Like, we just ripped, like someone just splashed the pot at 10, 12. I would think at minimum we want to retest that, and then I'm still so incredibly biased to the high odds of hitting 6,716. But whatever. I also respect the fact that knowing those odds, it's not 100%. There are counterexamples to it. That's how this world works. Palantir. What else is looking good? What else is trending right now? How's AMD doing? Maybe bottoming out, maybe catching a little bit of a bid. All right, so we did get the trend line breakdown on the Qs. We didn't make a new intraday low. We quickly bounced out of it. Here's a look at the options flow. The Mag 7 got hit, big pop. At 1021, it changed. And at the S&P 500, same thing. Be careful, folks. Remember when I told you, look for all those call people to lock in their profits? They ran it up to 6,730. Well, it looks like when it hit 6,731, 32, 33, they aggressively took their profits at 1041. Of course, a new batch could come in and buy more, but I'm showing you right now, they took a good chunk of profits between 1039 and 1043 right here. That is profit taking. And then it was married with people buying puts. So it was the double doozy. It was the old double doozy. The old double doozy-a-roozy. Let's see how this is going to go. Let's see how this is really going to go today. Tesla's holding up fine. Whoa, I just lost my YouTube page. Can you guys still hear me? Do I have to reload this? Studio just shit out on me. Earth to chat. This is your captain, Mateo speaking, a.k.a. Fat Barney. Oh, I lost you. Hello. Fat Barney is here. Palantir's looking good. All good, Captain. Thank you, Riverboat. Oh, Tesla taking a little bit of a hit. Not the biggest fan of that. Mag 7. SPY got hit pretty hard, trying to stabilize. Let's see if it does. I don't think it does. I think it pushes 6,725. That doesn't hold. I think we push 6,720. Maybe we hold there, but really the target is 6,715. That's the target, team. That's the target. Yeah, can we see Bookmap? Here's a look at Bookmap. Looks like on NQ, the VWAP is 25145. Point of control is 2516. The fact that we're below both does not make me feel so good. And they're right here, this little heat map down here, that is for 25,090. So there are sitting buy orders on the overshoot of this yellow line. There are sitting buy orders basically where my cursor is right now. So people are betting on, I wouldn't really call it a flush, but they're calling it on an overshoot of the intraday low and this level. It's right about here. And remember, these orders change, like it's very dynamic, but I'm just letting you know. And then on the flip side, people are trying to sell up at 180, 185, and we're at VWAP right now. We're at old VWAP right now. A rate limit?
Order canceled.
What the fuck? I'm rate limiting out? I don't know what that fucking means. I've seen this error before, but I've seen it before more so with when I had code that was bad, which, hey, maybe it is code that's bad. I don't know. But I'm getting from Ninja a rate limit problem. All right, Q's getting a decent bounce off of like this little flush low here. Mag 7 in the past couple minutes catching a bit of a bid. SPY showing some strength. Tesla, Oracle's kind of boring. Microsoft is looking good. Tesla's looking good. We talked about Microsoft. We talked about SoFi. Palantir's looking good. Nvidia's doing nothing. Broadcom nothing. Coin a bit of a recovery. CoreWeave did pop, got hit. Apple got hit, pop, now flat, not really moving. Hood hit a new all-time high at market open. Then we saw some profit taking. Hut is continuing its trip upwards. Oklo had a big pop. It's up a big percentage, but intraday it's definitely giving some back. Rum, a small hit after last week's pop. Meta is not looking so good. Technical breakdown on the daily. IONQ is continuing to push. MSTR, BITX, DJT. Any other thing of interest? Gold. Oh, hang on. Is this another brutal fake out? Oh, crossing up. No, here. You know what? Let's just do add alert crossing. All right. We'll see. Someone just splashed the pot a little right there on SPY. You can see the delta just whoop. What was it? Call selling and put buying, more so of call selling. The 0 DTE call line is the green line. So you could see they were selling calls, buying calls. They just sold a chunk. Then it went sideways, and now it's resumed to selling. The light blue line or the teal line is the 0 DTE puts. If anything, I would say over the last 10:25 to now, we really haven't done anything. You can see we're just kind of going sideways. You just got to wait. The trade's not there. The trade's not there. Why isn't Tesla moving on Fidelity showing blank? I don't know. I don't run Fidelity. You'd have to ask Fidelity about Fidelity. What do I think about Amazon? Well, I will tell you. Amazon, lower highs, lower lows, not looking so good. Overall, just not trending. Don't find it to be that interesting as a current setup. I do find it interesting, though. How many of you guys have been seeing the recent drama in one way or another related to, I believe, Hassan and Ethan Klein And Ethan Klein, I think, is suing, and maybe you guys know more about this, and so please, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Ethan Klein is suing people who are similar to Hassan for stealing his content and basically stealing his views and taking money off of it, basically copyright infringement, which whatever, that's a really hard thing to prove, but blah, blah, blah. But now they're at some form of legal process. And the only word that sticks out in my mind, not knowing anything about the law, is discovery. And they're finding out that one of the mods who was advising the audience on how to avoid all of this is also a Twitch employee. So it's something about one of these people helping people either use VPNs and kind of not really obstructing the legal process, but sidestepping it. They're now finding out he self-admitted that he works at Twitch. And like I said, I'm not really up to date on the details of it, but I was reading some tweets about this morning of a Reddit. No. Was it a Reddit employee? I thought he posted it on Reddit. Oh, so it's Reddit that's in trouble, not Twitch. Is that right? Like I said, I'm obviously I only have half the details and I was trying to consume it this morning. So so Reddit's in trouble, not Twitch is what you're saying? Regardless, it sounds like one tech company. I thought it was all happening on Twitch, but maybe you're right. Well, it sounds like you're right. I would bet on you being right and not me being right. So on Reddit, he posted that he's a Reddit employee? Talk about just admitting your guilt to the world. Jesus. How silly are some people? How silly are some people? Reddit was where the dude works. Okay, so there's many of you who are very confident he works at Reddit. So it sounds like that's right. Has been the way. Well, how's RDDT? RDDT. Ooh, also lower highs, lower lows, snap. This might be a shoulder, head, shoulder, snapping the neckline, downside gap fill to 162. It's a $40 downside gap fill on old Reddit there. On old Reddit. Old Reddit. All right, I think all of my new swing plays finally just got a fill. I didn't want to blow you guys up in Discord, so here I'll post this in right now. I just got a fill on 4 new positions. 2 look fine, 2 look not fine. The old 50-50 odds. The old 50-50 odds. Where is Swingers? All right, just got these fills. Well, the final one just got filled. Final one just got filled. All right, I'll set. Oh, I don't need that alert. Once again, the SPY's trying to hold flat, but I find it suspect. It's just seemingly getting pinned to this gamma node. I could zoom in. Maybe that's going to be a little bit easier. Right here. We're just kind of ping-ponging between 35 right here. We have this region. Right at 30. Here, we'll go to the 3-minute. Maybe that. Just trying to clean it up. I know sometimes this can all look incredibly messy. All right, so right now on this chart, you could say you have these lower highs, you have these higher lows, and we're just waiting for one direction to make a decision. Ooh, the Mag 7's picking up. Is it Tesla? I think I found it. So the Mag 7's going down because of the other things going on. But Tesla, by its lonesome, ever since 1013, has been up, and away. For those of you who are maybe a little curious about the key levels of Tesla, well, as of this morning, there's support at 430, and there's a big target at 460, and there's a huge swing target all the way up at 500. So support at 430, support at 420, target at 460, and target at 500. Pretty easy peasy lemon squeezies. Which one will win out? I don't know. But I'm giving you the support, 420, 430. I'm giving you the resistance, 460, 500. Do with that information whatever you want. If you want to short it down to support, have at it. If you want to go long all the way up to resistance, have at it. If you want to do some weird spread play and bet that we are within those bounds by a certain date, have at it. Have at it, have at it, have at it. It's all you, brother. It's all you, brother. Unfortunately, we're not really seeing much of a move. We really stalled out. Between 10:20 and 10:30 to now, we haven't done shit, folks. We haven't done shit. Mag 7's picking up. And SPY's just flat here. We popped, we got hit, it's flat. This is why day trading sucks ass. Pop quiz. Pop quiz, pop quiz, pop quiz. I know I told you guys last week that we were going to stop with the pop quizzes because you guys got too stressed, too much anxiety. But hey, this will be a bonus pop quiz. If you get the answer right, it's a bonus onto your midterm. If you get it wrong, it's not going to adversely impact you. So it's going to be a pop quiz that only has upside. Can you name one day trader, as in they get in and out within the same calendar day? That's how we are defining day trader. In and out in the same calendar day that is profitable on any time frame greater than 1 year. So I'm not talking, hey, this day they had a good one, or on this month they had a good run. I'm saying, can you name one day trader who in excess of 1 year is profitable? Trey, no. In fact, Trey is millions of dollars in debt because he's so horrendously bad. Who the fuck is George? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I just don't think there's enough people who really respect or not really respect, whatever, respects this or that or the other thing. I don't think there's enough people who understand. Dave Ramsey's, Ross Cameron, he does more swing trades. ICT, no, he's not profitable. Wrench, once again, he'll do it, but he also does swing trades. We're talking specifically day trades. Ross Cameron has swing trades in it. Rocket Scooter Matt, no, he's been proven to be a fraud. The stuff that I've seen him on the internet is it's all fake. All fake. Warrior Trading. You guys are bringing up Ross. First of all, wasn't he accused of some pretty heinous stuff? Is that the same Ross? It kind of is crazy that a person can do like a bad thing and then it like ruins the name for everyone else that has that name. No, a lot of these people aren't day traders. You're listing people like Trader Kane. Most of his money is going to come from, once again, swing trading. Patrick Whelan, no. No. He makes his money from marketing. Matt Kohrs, no. Most of my money is also from swing trading. Patrick Whelan is not a net profitable day trader. He's a net profitable marketer. He might be a net profitable swing trader, but not net profitable. J-Dub, Scarface, no. It's you're literally calling out people who, like, I don't even think make money on any time frame. Yeah, he got sued. Ross Cameron got sued. I thought it might have been a different Ross. Lance, nope. These are swing traders. Lance was profitable. He's now retired, but once again, swing trading, as in holding for multiple days. Tanya trades. I don't believe she's net profitable. If she is, it's probably those Trader TV Live. You think they're net profitable? No. Rake, he makes most of his money from swing trading. I've seen it. Like, once again, people make a lot of money most of the time. I'm just trying to illustrate the point that most of the time it is from swing trading. Remember, by definition, big money returns comes from riding a big trend. Big trends, by definition, require time. They are a function of time. you need to get a big movement, you need more time because it moves larger with more time. Nancy Pelosi, she's not a day trader, she's a swing trader. You're listing all these people, but they're swing traders. TJR, he's not a net profitable trader. He's kind of like Patrick Whelan, a really, really good marketer. So I have no doubt that those people are worth millions of dollars. Tasty Trade, they're by definition swing traders. They sell at 45, capture. Do you guys is there like a tough understanding of what day trading is in here? You guys are listing people, but it seems like you guys don't understand what day trading is versus swing trading. We're defining day trading as in and out in the same day. I would say the only day traders I know of that are net profitable are actually probably market makers. Citadel, Jane Street, Susquehanna, especially on that time frame, as in they have a track record in excess of a year. And once again, we're being hyper specific to day trading. George Soros is not a day trader. What do you think of Max Options? I have no idea who Max Options is. Wait, isn't Max Options a content creator? In the money, he's a bit more serious. I'm not sure, but I would assume same thing. Swing trading, not day trading. It is extraordinarily difficult to find, no less be a person who is net profitable in any time frame that matters. I'm talking in excess a year, no less, like repeating it year over year. One of the biggest things that it could instill in you is the market becomes easier the longer your time frame. If you are focused on a movement today, that is harder to anticipate, predict, and profit off of versus this week, versus this month, versus this quarter, versus this year. The larger your time frame, the easier it is to do. And that's exactly why when we talk about trading, that's 100% of the reason why when we get these earnings reports from the likes of Robinhood, you can see the stats on their active traders. They report it, and literally over 95% end up losing money. They lose money on it, which that right there should tell you, okay, what side do you want to be on? So it's possible to be a profitable day trader. I think the way you would want to do it, though, is probably selling premium. And honestly, you could even do that with swing trading as well. Your odds are going to shoot up when you are a person who sells insurance rather than buy it. Instead of buying calls and puts, selling calls and puts, your odds are going to shoot up there as well. Like that's another thing you could consider. But this concept of I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to buy these options or buy these stocks, I'm going to day trade in and out and move on with my life. Does it exist? Yes. I'm always, I'll be the first to admit, I actually do know a couple people, but they don't have any public facing content. They do it as their job. It is possible. I don't want anyone listening to this or watching this to be like, oh, Matt's saying no one can ever do it. The people who do it, first of all, it's a brutal lifestyle. Your stress levels are extraordinarily high. It's very difficult to pull off, but not impossible. And the ones who I know who do it have they're so incredibly busy with trading in itself that they don't have time for anything else, no less like making content and doing that type of stuff. Sean and Neil from Trader TV Live. No, that's all a SIM funded thing. They're not trading their real accounts. You know that, right? It's, they're not putting all their own money on the line. The way SIM funded is big in futures. They're pushing a product that is SIM funded. Whatever, you could do it, but I have a feeling if you said no, show me your own funded account for the last 2 to 3 years of active trading, not swing trading, of active day trading, they would not be profitable. Like it's just the math of it is extraordinarily difficult. He did get sued. Oh, well, the fact that Ross gets sued, that makes me trust it even less then. Tim Sykes. No, he's a really, really good marketer, and he caught like one good year back when he was in college, and now he just sells. What about day trading versus scalping? Your odds, obviously, honestly, they might go up with scalping versus day trading, but that's just, there's no like exact definition of the difference between day trading and scalping. I mean, by definition, scalping, you're in and out in the same day. So you could argue it's a type of day trading, but it's not like there's like a set legal definition of what separates the two, because both of them, whether you're in and out in a minute or in and out in an hour, technically you're in and out that same day. I don't know who Trader Society is. I mean, you guys are listing a lot of people I've like never heard of, and it sounds like you found them via like targeted Instagram ads, this, that, the other thing. My point is if don't just arbitrarily assume someone is profitable because they tell you they're profitable. Ask for broker statements. Be like, okay, like, and anyone, like, remember, in the very short term, the market is normally distributed. It's 50-50. Some person who's never traded before could have bought puts at market open, rode it all the way down, and they made a bunch of money. That doesn't mean that they are set to teach other people about trading, because half the time the market's going up, half the time the market's going down. So because of proof of a singular trade, that doesn't mean shit. Congrats on that trade. But on the flip side, there's very, very good traders who have a losing trade, and that doesn't mean that they're a bad trader. You have to look at it in the aggregate, in the net, which is exactly why, for the point of this thought exercise, I asked you like 1 or 2 years of actual information, not just like, hey, here's a trade, here's a week, here's a month. That it's too short of a time frame to know if someone's like actually good at this game. If you are a systematic trader, you can be profitable on the long run. That's a true statement, but also if you're a systematic trader, you could also be non-profitable in the long run. You could also be a discretionary trader and be profitable and or non-profitable in the long run. That statement, Mario, doesn't really make, like, it's true, but it doesn't have any commentary on the opposite there at all. It has no commentary on the exact opposite. Just because you're systematic doesn't mean that you are profitable. And just because you're not systematic doesn't mean you suck at it. I mean, Warren Buffett wasn't a systematic trader and he made billions of dollars. How profitable should a new trader be in their first year? I'm new to trading, still learning, but up over 50% on year. Most traders are not profitable in their first year. Just like, it takes time to learn the rules of the road and what's going on. And you could have profitable patches, but I would say no matter where you are in your trading journey, one of the major things you could and should be doing is just like really, really diving into what is your system. When are you getting in? When are you getting out? What is your reasoning? And as you document that more and more, you can find the strong points and the weak points, double down on the strong points and cut out the weak points to improve your overall trading framework and approach to the market. But this concept of being up 52%, that doesn't really tell me anything, because you could have a $1,000 account. You could have played one SPY call on one random day, made $520. You're up 52%. That's not necessarily good or bad. Like, that's not really how it works. Can you explain positive and negative gamma? Positive gamma is a zone where people sold a bunch of premium, whether calls or puts, and negative gamma is where the retail, or not retail, market participants bought a lot of premium, whether calls or puts. It's not bullish or bearish. You have to interpret positive and negative gamma to be either sticky price action, like when you get there, it's really tough to move out of it, or slippery price action of when you get going, you really get going. So it's negative gamma is slippery price action, and positive gamma is sticky price action. Can you explain when Apple will hit $300? No, no one could. Buy high, sell low. Yeah, that's generally the rule that many people learn when they first start trading. I mean, if you're an algorithmic trader, you are doing back testing. A good one would be, but not necessarily. There are people who run algorithms who haven't back tested anything. They just have an idea. I could easily write code right now that buys at market open every Wednesday and sells at noon every Friday, and that's an algorithm. that's algorithmically executed. That doesn't mean it's back tested. Mario, you're making a lot of assumptions and extrapolations that I don't think are healthy for any trader or anyone approaching the market. Have you tried Options Alpha? I made an account on it a while ago. I don't have anything good to bad to say about it. I made an account. I tried it once, and for some reason, I guess I just got busy and started doing other things. So it might be awesome. It might suck. Just no commentary from me. I do get their marketing emails still. I do get their marketing emails. Actually, I just saw that they were by me in New York doing like a trader meetup thing, which I obviously did not go to. But I think that's what the recent round of emails were. Somehow they have my email. Somehow. But if Options Alpha is the platform that I think it is, I like the overall concept of being able to backtest certain strategies. The Bills lost last night? No. Actually? Versus the Patriots? Holy shit. It looks like one extra field goal in the first quarter. So no team is undefeated in the NFL. The Bills lost. The Eagles lost. The Ravens have not been doing good. The Chiefs already started losing earlier this year. What? The Patriots beat the Bills? Do all gap fills eventually get filled? It depends what you're talking about. What's the underlying? You can't say that as a general statement. If you're referring to the overall market, yes, almost all gaps do get filled. Right now on the S&P 500, there are gaps to the downside that haven't been filled, but that doesn't mean they're not going to get filled in the future. Okay, where are we at? We are at 35. We're at 35. I am still waiting on this magical puke down to 15, and now I'm starting to feel crazy because it doesn't seem like we're getting there. It doesn't feel like we're getting there. NQ saved itself on this 30-minute breakdown right here earlier this morning. ES is trying to go back bullish. We puked into the bearish territory, and we're fighting now. We're fighting now. Can you explain gamma on Tesla chart, please? I'm trying to learn how to use spot gamma because of you. If it's above, those are positive gamma nodes. If it's below, those are negative gamma nodes. The bigger the node, the more important it is, whether and depending on the direction you're coming from, support or resistance. I day trade for a year now and I've lost a lot, but gotten way better and put cash for wins into ULTY as a safety net. Travis, if you are a year later still losing, what's the downside to trying swing trading? If you're already losing doing one thing, maybe there's another style and approach to the market that'll be better for you. The truest thing you ever said was Dill Saunders steaks were the best in Philly. Thanks for keeping it real. Dude, that's what I'm here for. It is the best. It is the best. It is the best. It is the best. Oh, well, at this point, looking at the 5-minute chart, the Nasdaq has not gone anywhere since 940. And you could argue pretty much the same on the SPY. So this is a Monday where we haven't done fuck all. Fuck all. Are you registered as a day trader with the IRS as a trader tax status? No. There would be no point in me doing that. There would be absolutely no point in me doing that. But also, I guess I should say that that is not tax advice, and you should talk to your own CPA about it. Wow, this is fuck all has happened today. Okay, Mag 7 is climbing up, probably mainly because of Tesla. Look at that. Tesla, nice pop. Palantir, Oracle, NVDA. Ooh, NVIDIA's catching a bid. Netflix, no. Meta, MicroStrategy, it did this morning. Microsoft is looking good. Hood, no. CoreWeave did catch a pop on whatever the hell that was. And it was for this Friday, too. And now it's going flat. Coin, that looks like a crazy divergence. Broadcom, solid. Apple, decent. AMD, decent. IWM, the small cap is working. SPX has gaps on the daily down to 2,500 and 3,000. Okay. If you say so, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Is that actually true? Said down to 3,000. Yeah, there are gaps down here at 4,400 from November of 23. There's gaps in here for sure. Are there ones before that? I don't know if there is one all the way back here in 2020. So that's around 2,500. There definitely are gaps still in the chart in the low 4,000s, mid 2,000s. So yeah, sounds like you are right. Thanks. Just wondering because my CPA advised me to do so in order to not be treated against the short-term capital, but instead earn income from trading activities. I don't know. Do you have a good CPA? That would be my first question. Do you have a good CPA? Folks, this is now turning into watching paint dry, which I think means that is it for today's morning show. I appreciate all the good vibes. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. A shout out to Public. If you do not have a Public account yet, you are a bona fide crazy person. Pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. Use that link so you start off at a higher rebate tier. In my humble opinion, it is the place to trade options. Once again, pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. Folks, don't do anything too crazy. Right now, we're just not seeing a nice trend. There's a downside gap fill on NQ, on ES. We haven't hit the SPX close from Friday. So I get that we're trending up right now, but my spidey senses are not liking what's going on. So if anything, I kind of like some opportunity in individual equities rather than right now what I'm seeing in the overall market. I'd prefer those levels get filled and then I could get back into the overall market, favoring the bullish direction. Don't force the trade. If it's not there, you're going to be fine. There's always going to be another day in the markets. We will be posting an update video later on today. And at noon o'clock today, in 40 minutes, we're going to have a specialty video going out on both Rumble and the secondary channel on YouTube. So Rumble, it's the normal channel where you're watching right now. On YouTube, it's the Matt Kohrs channel, and right now you're watching on the Matt Kohrs show. So it's on the other channel at noon o'clock today, video coming out, update video coming out later on today, and then streaming once again tomorrow morning. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'm going to go hang out in the Goonie Discord if you want to join there. Your first month's free. Other than that, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.